Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live, blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. As always, a huge shout out to the team. Mitch, Bill, and Sean, I love you guys, and to our special advisory committee that can be found at www.scbrtalk.com/advisory committee. Click on the link and learn about the leaders doing the work. Of course, speaking of leaders, I have the tremendous honor of introducing Hilda Kennedy, who is the founder and president of AmPAC Business Capital, the DBA of AmPAC Tri-State CDC. Kennedy started her career in economic development, working as the director of economic development for the city of Inglewood. While in Inglewood, Kennedy led the city in establishing a $45 million Section 108 loan fund to serve the businesses within the city and implemented business attraction strategies to change the landscape of the Century Boulevard retail corridor. During her 12 years with the city of Inglewood, Ms. Kennedy recognized the difficulty small business owners, particularly minority and women entrepreneurs, encountered in accessing capital for their businesses to grow. The desire to assist these businesses led her to the U.S. Small Business Administration seeking to establish a new certified development company in California. AmPAC was established as a nonprofit 501c3 in 2005, and after a lengthy process, AmPAC received its SBA designation as a certified development company. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Perfect. So, as you know, and I read briefly in your bio, my first question to all of my guests is to please walk us through your journey and how you established, what led you to the steps to finally found and become the president of AmPAC Business Capital.
Well, I am the mother of 4 children, and as you mentioned, I worked for the city of Inglewood. I live in the Inland Empire, and for those of listeners who don't know Southern California, the city of Inglewood is about 45 miles west of where I lived. And on our normal traffic days, that's a 4-hour commute to and from work. And I realized sitting in my son's 4th grade class that I, in fact, was missing his life. And it broke my heart on that day. So I ran home and wrote my resignation and decided I'm going to have to figure it out because I treasure being a mom and I don't want to miss my children's lives. And so a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine who is deceased now, Bill Lowenstein, said, "Why don't you start your own?" And quite honestly, Yvette, I didn't even know what that really meant, but I decided I remain passionate about small business and passionate about small businesses getting resources, and I set out to do just that. I got to know my community in the Inland Empire. I met some great partners. I wrote a business plan and set out to become a partner of the U.S. Small Business Administration. And as you stated, 2 years later, it happened.
That is absolutely phenomenal. And that just harkens back to the very difficult question that all mothers, and especially working mothers such as yourself and myself, have when it comes to developing or establishing that work-life, as we've heard, balance. What do you say about that dynamic, and how has this new effort assisted you in feeling that sense of being there with your family?
I share often, since I'm the mother of 4 and we're a 6-person family, there's no way for me to balance dividing myself in 6 pieces. So I'd rather call it work-life integration. And that's what I did in coming home and starting AmPAC, I integrated my children into all the things that we do. They were interns. They filed papers. They sat on the floor. They did homework. They just came with me where I went, and I integrated them into what we do. And again, many of them had on their resume interning at AmPAC when they left to go to college. So I am thrilled to have had the flexibility by starting AmPAC to be able to integrate my family, my children into the business so that I could feel whole as a working mom to be able to serve my family and also do what I absolutely love in terms of serving small businesses.
I absolutely love that. I have very similar memories myself, but I love how you paint the picture, right, of having your children there integrated into the assignments, into the workflow, and being able to ultimately put on their resume, yes, I worked at AmPAC Business Capital, and have experience with these forms and the logistics of business capital efforts, applications, processing, and so forth. So what a tremendous boost that must be and must have been for your children as they forge their own path in the world.
Yeah, well, they do thank me for that, as they're doing their own things today, and one of them work in the business. So really encouraging.
So tell us a bit about AmPAC's mission.
Yeah. So AmPAC's mission is to finance and foster small business success from cradle to legacy. And what we pride ourselves on in doing that is we finance and foster small business success no matter the complexity. Our mission is to get to a yes. And when we get to a yes, our desire is to get to a yes that's going to benefit the small business most. And although many small businesses seeking capital think capital is the solution, we're bold enough and we care enough to say capital is not the solution in instances where it's not. And the yes is getting them to the resources or resource partner who can help them in the area that they really need it when capital is in fact not the real solution.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned that you strive to build communities within the underserved communities. Please talk about what some of those barriers look like as a first-time entrepreneur, maybe underserved business community for those that, need that extra guidance and navigation through the business development process.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Because if you look at any of the studies, whether it's done by the Federal Reserve or any bank, or even the Cal State San Bernardino Entrepreneurship Center, the top three things that come up every single time, included in those top three, is access to capital. And included in the people that they're surveying are businesses in underserved communities, typically Black and Brown communities, veteran-owned businesses, and women-owned businesses who really struggle to access capital. By and large, those businesses are first-generation entrepreneurs as well. And so they struggle because sometimes they don't have the business acumen. It's one thing to know your craft, but a very different thing to have business acumen, knowing how to read and understand a financial statement, an income statement, a balance sheet, knowing about cash flow and why cash is king. Those communities struggle in those areas, and therefore they struggle to access capital. Many times they walk into what is common. What do you go when you want to get money? Well, I'm going to go to a bank. Well, banks are great, but if you haven't built a relationship and you're an early start business or, again, first generation entrepreneur, or don't have the business acumen, you're not typically going to be able to get a bank loan. So being able to look for other resources that are affordable, that are engaging, they'll walk with you hand in hand throughout the process. Those are the programs that AmPAC sponsors so that we can make sure that all small business owners, especially those in first generation classes or underserved communities, are able to get access to capital or access to resources that are going to help them to grow and scale.
Absolutely. And, it just, you hit, the nail on the head when you talk about first generation entrepreneurs, right? Whereas your children have that beautiful foundation, that experience of what it means to build a business, that business acumen, the strategies, the hard work that goes into building a business. And so they're prepared, right? So the barriers that they'll face are probably less than those that are coming in completely blind, right? Like you said, with a great idea, with a great craft, with a great service, but without that business background. Something that just really stood out to me was your AmPAC GRIP statement. Please talk about that and, unpackage that for our viewers and our audience.
I love to do that because our GRIP is the wind beneath our wings. It's our core values. Our core values begin with grace and faith with a servant's heart. That's how we operate. When we're working with a business owner who's had life happen, who had some things in the past, we want to review their applications with a sense of grace. And because faith is our foundation as a company, it's a servant's heart in which we want to serve them. So that's the G of our GRIP. The R of our GRIP is relentless know-how. We know what we're doing. We know the SBA regulations. We know about financials and how companies operate. We know how to underwrite a loan. We know how to evaluate financial statements. We call it underwriting with a heart. So we don't have to take just the 5 C's of credit that many people are familiar with, but we want to have the relentless know how to look at the numbers and then look under the numbers to be able to get to success. We're innovative visionaries. We're always thinking about how do we make sure that we create programs and curate them to the best needs of growing a small business. Integrity from a higher calling is the other I in our GRIP. We don't believe that we have to be as concerned about people looking at us, but God above is looking at what we do. So we operate with that level of integrity and ethics. And then we're passionate and focused on our small business success. So everything that we do, we're driven to do based on that passion. Our GRIP is the wind beneath our wings. Is what we tell our employees. Hey, make a decision based on our GRIP. If no one is there to help you make that decision, we're going to stand beside you because you operated according to our core values.
I absolutely love it. Please talk about the response you have had by leading a faith-based organization in business capital resources.
We've had some success over these 18 years. We've done over $1 billion in small business loans for businesses. We've done that by helping businesses buy their owner-occupied commercial real estate. We were a great partner during the pandemic and did over $15 million in PPP loans. And we did the smaller loans, a loan as little as $1,000 for a small business owner. She ran a party planning business. And of course, her business stopped during the pandemic and she wanted something to help her family. And we were able to support her with a PPP loan to do that. We managed a ton of grant programs during PPP to really help businesses to stay in business so that they didn't have to close their doors. We are passionate and focused on small business success. And so our faith leads us in that direction. And over 16 years, this will be our 16th year, we've held our Connecting Faith and Business Summit, bringing businesses and faith-based leaders together in partnership with the SBA and several other partners to bring together a program that inspires, that motivates, and that gives people the freedom to talk about how their faith drove them in their business, even through disappointments, even through recessions, even through the pandemic, how their faith carried them through it, and the practical things that they did, stepping out on faith, helping people with kindness, and really being stewards of the great responsibility of owning a business and having employees who look up to you, who are depending on you, whose mortgages depend on your business success. So business leaders have to make great decisions, and doing that with your faith driving you. That's our commitment to connecting faith and business.
I love that you report to the highest authority, right? So when you view life that way, it's one thing, but when you're able to integrate that philosophy and that purpose into the business world and into your everyday business dynamic, that has got to be the next level of success and freedom in truly expressing and pursuing one's purpose. What have you seen from those that you have been able to guide along their journey?
We have so many great success stories. One that I think of most is a gentleman who is a veteran. He was a Navy veteran. He got in some trouble as a young man. He lived in a community that was pretty tough, had a lot of drugs and a lot of tough things in that community. And he got into some trouble and got some things on his record, and he had turned his life around, moved out of that community after getting out of the Navy, and he decided that he wanted to start his business. What he knew is barbering. So he learned how to cut hair, and he said, I know how to cut hair very well. He decided to start a barber school. And in starting that barber school, it grew. And he was able to help other young men and young women who had gotten into some trouble or were about to get in some trouble, and got them in his barbering school, so that they too could start their own business. But he wanted to buy his own building. He was busting out at the seams. So we introduced a program that we started called Commercial Down Payment Assistance, and we titled it, It Is Possible, because we wanted business owners taking advantage of this, particularly first-generation entrepreneurs and Black, Brown, and women-owned businesses, to take advantage of this. He got one of those down payment assistance loans and bought his building and built it out and built this incredible barbering school in San Diego. And to hear him talk about the joy it brings, and now he's brought his daughter into the business, and so he's building generational wealth for his family. It is such an encouraging story, and his energy is so contagious when he talks about it, and has so much gratitude to AmPAC for that support.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful story. And I know that you are a certified development company, but you're also a U.S. Department of Treasury certified development financial institution. Please talk about, the next layer of, hurdles that you had to go through to receive that designation.
It's special. Can I just say it that way? It is special. It's a really intense application process, and requires a lot of documentation and measurements. But those programs were designed to make sure that capital is getting to underserved communities. And so for us, it's absolutely part of our core values. It's what we do. and what we're committed to doing. And these programs help us to curate non-traditional capital access programs so that we can penetrate those the wealth gap, and we can penetrate economic parity to make sure that we can level the playing field for businesses getting access to capital who traditionally have not been able to get access to capital. So a lot of reporting, a lot of record keeping, a lot of application hoops, but it's what we do. It's the passion points that we have, and we'll do it again.
Perfect. So how does that designation allow you to better serve your clients and your prospective future clients?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. We have a program that is called the Success Capital Program. Oftentimes in lending, when someone is getting a loan, they're going to base the interest rate off of the background and credit history, and you're likely going to get a higher interest rate if your credit is lower or if you don't have as much experience in business. Well, we pondered, why can't we then reward success and lower the interest rate for businesses that are making their payments on time and always participating in training, so that they can get better and grow their business and have greater business acumen? So we created a Success Capital program to do just that. If a business gets whatever interest rate we provide for them with their loan, if they make timely payments and they participate in training so that we know that they're in the learning process ongoing, we reduce their interest rate over 3 years by 1.5%. We'll also add a grant to help them to pay down the principal of their loan so that they can continue to keep more operating cash for growing their business. So let's create a paradigm shift. And that's what this designation allows us to do, to curate programs, to provide alternative opportunities for businesses to access capital.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. We are coming up on a break. Everybody who's listening, Yvette Walker with ABC News, Southern California Business Report with Hilda Kennedy, the visionary president and founder of AmPAC Business Capital. With the relentless drive to empower entrepreneurs and uplift communities, Hilda has redefined the landscape of business financing. Her passion, innovation, and unwavering dedication have made her a trailblazer in her industry. And in this exclusive interview, she's sharing insights, wisdom, and her compelling vision for the future when we return.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only School of Entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
Hi, I'm Dana Rademacher with MGR Property Management.
A lot of people wonder about the value that property management has for their property. Property management can include all property types, including residential, commercial, and HOA. It is valuable because property managers are experienced in what can happen at your property. We're aware of liabilities. We're able to do predictive and preventative maintenance. We know what is coming up with the changes in the weather, the seasons, how old certain aspects or different capital projects at your property are. We're able to best negotiate contract pricing, legalities with your tenants, and anything else that you may need to ensure that you're getting the full value of your property.
If you're interested in speaking with the representative at MGR Property Management regarding your property management needs, you can visit our website at mgrrealestate.com, or you can call our number at area code 909-581-6600 to be connected with the representative.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily non-stop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today. The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
We are the Empire Strikers, the professional sports team of the Inland Empire. We are a fast-actioned and community-inspired pro indoor soccer team. Our mission is to inspire the Empire. Home games, community events, watch parties, and youth camps are all back. Professional indoor soccer is back. Join us and come watch the greatest show on turf at Toyota Arena or on Twitch. Visit www.theempirestrikers.com for more and any information.
Welcome back, everyone. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, here today with Hilda Kennedy, the visionary president and founder of AmPAC Business Capital. With a relentless drive to empower entrepreneurs and uplift communities, Hilda has redefined the landscape of business financing. Her passion, innovation, and unwavering dedication have made her a trailblazer in her industry. And in this exclusive interview, she shares insights, wisdom, and her compelling vision for the future. Thank you again for being with us today, Ms. Kennedy.
My pleasure. So delighted.
Perfect. So prior to the break, you gave us an overview of AmPAC and some of the qualities that distinguish it and make it a wonderful place for first-time entrepreneurs to come and access business capital. When you were speaking about one of your clients that opened up a barber school, you hit on a point that is very important that I know was a big part of what you are trying to highlight, and that is being able to apply SBA funding to purchase commercial real estate. Please talk about that, your efforts, and how that also shifts the paradigm for business owners.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yvette. This SBA program, Small Business Administration program, often gets overlooked, even though we think we try and promote it, and then the SBA tries to promote it, many people don't know about it. So it's called the SBA 504 program, and there's one other program called the SBA 7A program. The 504 program is specific, though, to fixed assets like commercial real estate. When a business owner has been leasing their space for years and years, a landlord has the right to increase their rent. They have the right to cancel or negate their lease and rent to someone else. And so the opportunity to own commercial real estate helps a business to establish stability, control their cost, and create a legacy for the next generation in their company. The SBA 504 program is an affordable program for a business who wants to own their own space. So different from a bank, if you go into a bank and you're trying to get a commercial loan, you're typically going to have a down payment of 20%, sometimes up to 30% down. This program allows a business owner to buy their commercial real estate for just 10% down, making it much more affordable and allowing a business owner to keep that cash so that they can continue operating their business. The other sweet part about this particular program is that it's a public-private partnership. So it involves both the SBA and it involves a private lender, which could be a bank, a credit union, a non-bank lender. And the bank is typically doing up to 50% of the loan, and the SBA is doing 40% of the loan. What makes it also affordable is that the SBA portion of the loan, they're going to fix the interest rate for the life of the loan, and they're going to give this business owner a long-term 25 years fixed rate so that the monthly payment is much more affordable. What the SBA thought about in developing this program is, again, how can the business owner keep more cash so that they can grow the business and create jobs and positively impact their community. So it's a wonderful program for business owners who are renting, and they can have the opportunity to own. It is possible for them to own their own commercial real estate, and this program is a program for that.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And in earlier conversations, you mentioned fintech loans versus SBA loans, the loans that you're offering. Please talk about the differences and how you navigate clients through either refinancing their fintech loan or, getting out from under it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So fintech stands for financial technology. And in this age of AI and ChatGPT and financial technology, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to use these technological advances to get capital to small businesses faster. But getting capital to small businesses faster comes with risk. So we are seeing a number of businesses who are kind of surfing on the internet at night. You know that you have payroll to make. You know that you have a contract that you're trying to service, and you get the bleep that comes up on your email that says fast cash for your business. Well, my mother used to tell me, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And so you better read the fine print. And that's what we're seeing with these fintech loans, sometimes they're merchant cash advance loans. They absolutely serve a purpose. They get cash to a small business quickly. But what is often overlooked is how much that's going to cost. You don't have to provide a lot of paperwork, but in not having to provide a lot of paperwork, they begin taking the money out of the business's bank account daily. And that interest rate goes up daily. So we have refinanced those loans for small businesses that ended up with interest rates ranging from 44% to over 130% interest. And those businesses were drowning. And if we didn't refinance them, Yvette, they definitely would not be in business. And sometimes businesses are getting multiples of those loans, and we are not able to refinance them. So what I am
those interest rates, how is that even legal?
That industry is not regulated like the banking industry. And so that's why they can do that. It is troublesome at best. In California, we've worked on legislation called Truth in Lending. So now they're required to disclose the interest rate. But again, if you're trying to make payroll or you're trying to service a contract, you see that and you think, I'm an entrepreneur, I can work my way out of it. But oftentimes they're not working their way out of it. And so what I urge is a business owner to think about their non-traditional lending partners, like a mission-based lender, a nonprofit lender, or a CDFI. Look for those, Google those in your community and try and find a partner. It may take a little longer, but it is going to benefit you. And if you have to use a fintech loan, do that and have an exit plan. So at the same time be working on a relationship with those non-traditional lenders, like a CDFI or mission-based lender, so that they can help you get out of those loans and you can still be able to scale and not put yourself in a position where you might have to go out of business because you've taken on so much high interest debt and you can't survive.
That is, I just am in disbelief that those interest rates are even legal. But thank you so much for assisting, entrepreneurs and business owners that have found themselves in a position to feel compelled to take on those loans and at those astronomical rates, and you showing them the way back onto the sustainable path forward. What is the response of your clients when you're able to do that for them? And what is the interest rate difference that they're able to achieve in a loan through the SBA and through AmPAC business capital versus these fintech loans?
Yeah, great question. I'll tell you a recent story. This couple has grown a very great business in they do services for rentals and provide a number of services for rental properties. And they got a fintech merchant cash advance loan, and they were paying for a $75,000 loan over $16,000 a month. And when we refinance them, they're paying $1,400 a month for that same loan. And the owner was in tears in our office, just so grateful that we were able to help them because they were sinking. They could not breathe. They had built a great business and just got in way over their head, and they didn't fully understand how they had gotten there. And so it is so critical. That's why I'm really on a soapbox to educate business owners. Do read the fine print. And I understand the desperation almost of making payroll or serving a contract. I really do. I'm a business owner. I get that. But if you get into those situations, you've got to have a plan B and look for those alternative lenders to give you another option, because it's unsustainable. And I could go on about multiple stories. This year, we have probably had the greatest number of clients that we're having to refinance out of those kinds of loans. And so I'm trying to do more education about buyer beware, look for other options, or use that tool. Fintech is a tool. Those products are a tool. I am definitely not disparaging their use, because they are a tool. But know how to take that tool and then look for another option quickly that can give you a little bit more time, that you have a little bit more time before you get crippled and risk being out of business.
So with that said, you talk about how fintech loans are easy, not very many documentation requirements, and walk us through the process with interfacing with AmPAC Business Capital and some of the forms and what a client can expect when they, call you and say, Hilda, let's work together. How can you help me, fund my business and get me the capital to grow it?
Sure. Thank you. Well, we like to say we make access to capital as easy as A, B, C. And so the A is application. We have to collect an application. And when we collect an application, we're getting details. We're asking for personal tax returns and we're asking for business tax returns. And if you're a startup business and you don't have any financials, we're still going to ask for your personal tax returns, but we're going to ask you to provide a business plan. It does not have to be a 200-page business plan. I'm not going to read all of that. I want to nice executive summary business plan, and we have some samples on our mobile app. We're going to ask for that application along with a couple of forms. One is a 1919 form. It's an SBA form that allows us to collect personal information on you, as well as an SBA 413 or personal financial statement form that allows us to understand what are your personal assets and what are your personal liabilities. That's really critical for us to do prudent underwriting with the heart. We are going to pull personal credit because we need to know how you have handled your personal resources, and we pull business credit. People often ask me, well, do I have to have a minimum credit score? I say to them, we want to see your personal history in terms of credit. I'm not necessarily looking for a personal minimum credit score, but I do want to see how you have handled creditors. And I often say, if you've never paid a creditor, I don't think I'm that special that you would pay me too. So I'm going to assume that that is not a good fit for us to provide a loan. So that's application. Those are the things that we have to look at to be a good steward of trying to make sure that we're getting to the right yes for the customer. The second step is the B, business review. That's when my team looks at those financials. They may ask some additional questions so that we can put together a credit underwriting memorandum that we review with our loan committee or our board of directors to review that, to ensure that we haven't missed anything as our blind spot to make a credit decision or a credit recommendation. If we're doing an SBA 504 loan, after our board reviews that, we send that to the SBA, and the SBA makes a final decision and gives us an authorization number. If we're doing the loan directly, then we make that final decision after our loan committee acts and gives us a thumbs up on the file. And typically, if we recommended it, because of our experience, we're typically getting those loans approved. But we like to have checks and balances on our end as well. So that's what the business review section is. Once we give the approval, we go into the C, closing. We collect documents to help us close the loan, articles of incorporation, bylaws, business license, insurance information. Those are all of the things we have to collect to close the loan. And so business owners, if you don't have those things in place, it's really critical that you do, that you have business insurance, that you have a business license for your business, that you know where your articles and bylaws are in operating your company, depending on the structure of your company. And if you need help, we have resources to help you get that record keeping in place. We do a lot of hand holding. In fact, on our business cards, we say we'll walk with you hand in hand throughout the process. Again, our goal is to make access to capital as easy as ABC. And so that's the process: application, business review, and then the closing process so that we can fund the loan.
I love it. I think in an earlier conversation, I called you the business money fairy because you make it sound so easy. And hearing you transform the lives of those business owners, of going from a fintech loan into an SBA loan and cutting their payment by over $15,000, almost brought tears to my eyes, right? Being a business owner myself, I understand and I can relate to those struggles, but the passion that continues to drive you to do what you're supposed to do, what your mission is, what your purpose is, pursue your purpose. Tell us a little bit more about the AmPAC app.
Yeah, thank you. So we built this app, Yvette, coming out of the pandemic. We knew that we needed to get a resource that businesses could access 24/7, and we call it a pocket resource, whether that's in your purse or in your back pocket. It's your pocket resource. In fact, my son, who works in the business, when we were building out our building where we created a WeWork office space so that we could invite businesses to come into the space and hold meetings or hold trainings or utilize the building for them to grow their business if they don't have their own location. He suggested we also need digital space. And so we created this mobile app with the business owner in mind so that every resource for businesses, whether you're working with other small business administration resources like the Small Business Development Center or the Women's Business Center or the Corps of Retired Executives SCORE, you can access them on the mobile app. You can make appointments with them on the mobile app. You can see all of the trainings that they offer on the mobile app. And then we have a video library of training that you can listen to while you're watching your kid play soccer or while you're getting your hair done or cleaning your house and you want to think about, get some training on how do I build my business, some tips on how do I price my next product, making sure that you're not short selling yourself, getting those kinds of tips from the training videos that we have on the mobile app. We have templates for writing a business plan and what it needs to go in that business plan. All of that is found on the mobile app. And you can access the mobile app by going to Google Play if you're an Android user or iPhone user by going to the App Store at ABCEE, AmPAC Business Capital Entrepreneur Ecosystem, your pocket resource right there on your mobile device.
Perfect. We're coming up to the end of the interview, but quickly tell us about any upcoming events we should know about.
Well, I talked to you about connecting faith and business, something that we have been doing since we started. And for 16 years, we've done our Connecting Faith and Business Summit. It's coming up on October 17th at the Ontario Doubletree Hotel. And it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's bringing businesses and faith-based leaders together. If you want to be comfortable in a business setting, talking about your faith and rubbing shoulders with other business leaders who are committed to talking about their faith and living it out and being very successful with that, we'd love to have you. And maybe you might even know the MC if she says yes. I won't even go anywhere from there. I'll let you take it from there.
Well, yes, we talked about that and you're making me blush because it would be an absolute honor to serve in that capacity for your event. Hilda, thank you so much for that. So you heard it, I guess, we'll be confirming that very shortly, but very exciting. More than anything, just overwhelmed and ecstatic for your business model and the way you're able to support and encourage other entrepreneurs to pursue their purpose and realize their dreams, not only for themselves, but for the community at large. So thank you so much for your heart and for your dedication to the business community, Hilda.
Thank you very much. Honored to be with you.
Beautiful. All right, everybody, for everyone listening today, don't forget to find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com. Don't forget, the City of Ontario presents Summer Concert Series through July 31st. Free concerts every Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. at 224 North Euclid Avenue in downtown Ontario. Get together with friends, shop the vendors, and have fun. Hope Through Housing Foundation's Women of Hope presents Beauty, Bubbles, and Bites, Havana Nights theme, Thursday, July 18th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Padua Hill Theater in Claremont. Please contact Daisy Macias at 909-509-2094 or email damacias@htf.org. That's damacias@htf.org. Don't miss my special interview with Eric Sherwin, an engineer, paramedic, and public information officer with the San Bernardino County Fire Protection District. He started his career in public safety as an ocean lifeguard for the city of Newport Beach. Eric joined County Fire in 2008 as a firefighter paramedic and has worked in the Mountain, North Desert Valley, and Special Operations divisions. Next week, we will have Betty Porto, Vice President in Community Relations for Porto's Bakery, who was born in Cuba and migrated with her family to California in 1971. Her mother opened the first Porto's Bakery location shortly after arriving, and Betty and her siblings worked there after school every day throughout high school and college. You do not want to miss it. We will see you all next week.